Hi there, welcome, it's the Tech4O channel, and I'm Michael. This is a smartphone. Yes, a smartphone with the outlook of a smartwatch, and I've got one of the latest models called KC06, and indeed this is a smartwatch based on Android 6.0 in this scenario, and how that differs from Wear OS and other standard and smarter fitness trackers, we're about to find out. Let's get started. So what? You think it's crazy to play games on a smartwatch? Just leave it alone. Yeah, maybe in some ways it is. But indeed it's one of the things you could actually do on the KC06 because it runs Android, meaning that most of the things you can install from Play Store can run here because it does have the characteristics and the hardware for your smartphone. Now, at the moment, there are three main streams of getting smartwatches. So on one side, we have the Wear OS based smartwatches. These are devices certified by Google running their Wear OS operating system, and the benefits that you gain are quite obvious, including Google Play Store and the whole ecosystem provided by Wear OS. The biggest disadvantage is, in most of the time, the battery life, and in some ways the performance, which comes because of probably the not enough RAM that they place in those devices, so as not too capable chipsets. The second main trend are the non-Wear OS smartwatches, where each manufacturer tries to develop its own operating system. Think of Samsung and their Tizen OS, or for example this relatively new member coming from Huawei called the Huawei Watch GT. Not too many apps are available, but the battery life could be significantly better than with Wear OS. Or if we take the Amazfit series, for example, people can easily reach a week, or the already mentioned Huawei Watch GT, which can last for almost 2 weeks. Apparently, the device that I mentioned at the start, the KC06, belongs to a third group of devices, which are smartwatches based on Android. So it's kind of a custom flavor of a slimlined distribution of really Google's Android operating system, the same that you're most likely running on your smartphone. While the philosophy of Wear OS is to have a device which is more of a client connected to your mobile device, the KC06 and the other Android-based watches are designed to be more like independent entities, and you can use them instead of having a second phone. So let's say you have a mobile with a single SIM, but you need a second one, so here's a good and reasonable way to have it. The packaging is standard. You will notice no logo, it doesn't strike as something too premium, and besides the user guide there's only the charging cable. The watch is very bulky and quite thick, but stays well on the wrist. Inside, it has the specifications of a budget smartphone, an efficient quad-core processor by Mediatek, 1GB RAM, 16GB internal flash and 4G connectivity, and yes, you can count on fully functional 4G signal as soon as you put inside a SIM card. And indeed it has a nano SIM slot for installation of a SIM card. The battery compartment reaches 620 mAh, which is enough for around 2 days of usage, maybe up to 3 days if you disable most of the connectivity services and run it in airplane mode. To the rest of the major hardware characteristics, of course Bluetooth, a speaker, microphone, bunch of sensors and a GPS. I have to say that the hardware performs quite good, and if you know some tricks about Android and speeding it up, some of them are applicable here too. So now let's move away from the hardware and have a more serious talk about the software, which is based on Android 6.0 and is called with a weird name Fun OS. Obviously it is not officially certified by Google and reminds a lot the situation with Android TV boxes. At least there's almost no bloatware, and let's have a look at the main menu. You can see typical smartwatch navigation with options for a phone call, health tracking, heart rate measuring, Google Play services options, and even a flashlight. And so far so good. Not that different from what we get from the TicWatch S2, for instance, but Trying to log into the Play Store, we encounter one serious difference. We're supposed to use the regular login process to Play Store, which makes the watch entirely independent, in some ways uncontrollable from the smartphone app. You can still use the account as you use on your smartphone, but management will not be centralized. On one side, this can be nice, on the other, some people will see that as an extra complication. I had some issues with the initial login because the 1.3-inch display is not that fabulous. Pressing these small letters is usually quite annoying, even for a person with not too large fingers. The availability of regular Play Store gives you access to pretty much all the apps available there, including multimedia players, music, and even games. Can we play games? Hell yeah! Can we add a joystick, Bluetooth joystick? Yeah, because there is Bluetooth connectivity. We can run more basic games. Here's an example with Angry Birds. Not quite easy to play it, and the big problem is that when you went to press something which is at the corners of the screen, you can't reach it because the screen has no corners. You can play more fun games with the joystick, although I don't see a reason for someone to play on such a small display, but if there's no other way, I guess it's doable. You even have YouTube, which is rather hard to control, but once you find the right video, you can watch it with sound.
And here's a good way to experience the quality or lack of quality of this internal speaker, because we can count on Bluetooth.
There always are ways to improve the sound with an external Bluetooth device. Here's the JBL Flip 3, which sounds drastically better. There also is a microphone and you can make and receive calls, because you remember there's a SIM card slot, so you don't even need to use a smartphone because you can be entirely independent. In that sense, here's another good use case. This kind of smartwatches may be a great idea for people that need a second phone. This thing is more portable from a mobile, might sometimes have better battery life, and you won't need to sacrifice pocket space. If we explore the more watch-oriented functions, I can say that the embedded sports modes are rather poor on functionality, and if you're a professional athlete, there's no way you will be happy with the data shown, but if you know a nice app from Play Store, it can be used instead. With the screen limitations that we've already mentioned, remember that most of the apps in Play Store are not optimized for round displays with such a low resolution. The GPS signal gets locked within less than 30 seconds, and you may count on Play Store with some remarks. A lot of settings and features, and also some interesting watch faces. Some of them actually look good. The display is LCD, it's not AMOLED, but even not being of great quality, it may look fine. The last major section I want to cover, the smartwatch and binding it to a smartphone, and the application that we're supposed to use is called Fundu. Fundu for Fun OS kinda makes sense. It has quite a nice and clean interface. On the main section there's information about you. On the second page you have some statistics and analysis of your sports activities. Since no synchronization with Google Fit is available or any other kind of cloud service, if you switch to another phone you will lose all the data. Inside the settings there's the nice option to push any of the apps installed on your phone to the watch. The rest of the settings are somewhat standard. Unit settings, finding the device, user guide and so on. Among the things I could complain the most about, the lift wrist to light on the screen works, but not always, and the microphone is not of good quality. Well, that's about the KC06. In my case labeled as Senbono, but you can find this smartwatch with many different names like Kingwear, and I've seen already a few other types already online. Places you can buy it from, most of the Chinese wholesale websites, AliExpress, eBay, and so on. Is it a good smartwatch? Yeah, could be for some of you. It acts more as a standalone independent Android entity and could be great replacement of a second smartphone, but in terms of usability, doesn't come near the well-settled Wear OS-based devices, despite the many shortcomings of Google's Wear dedicated operating system. And because this modification of Android doesn't undergo any certification, pricing of these devices can be quite tempting. It was launched for about $100 2 months ago, and now I see the price dropping down to between $80 and $85. As for durability and performance in long term, I think it's quite early to say, and only time can show. If you have any good thoughts to contribute with to the overall review and the content, make sure to share it in the comment section right below the video. And thank you a lot for spending these few minutes with me. If you can now make the difference between what Wear OS device does against what a smartwatch with a custom Android flavor can do, then mission is accomplished. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to share it with your friends. Depending on how you feel, hit the like or dislike. Make sure to check whether the subscribe button is switched on, because I truly would love to see you again here, back at the Tech4O channel. My name is Michael, wishing you a great day and looking forward to see you again here.